Dear Dry Diaries.
If you recognize Boat and me, I was on the first season of Too Hot to Handle.
Do you think it's weird if a girl DMs a guy first?
They blindfold me.
I want to go into the simulation. So if you're like out there.
If you're watching out there, player, you want to know a really big misconception that's Too Hot to Handle's fault? I'm going to plead the fifth.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to plead the fifth.
Why aren't you and Harry friends anymore?
Am I going to give you the exclusive of what happened here? That's awesome.
Hey guys, it's your author, Alex Dry, and I am back with another entry. Today I am with one of my longest best friends in LA, Bryce Hirschberg.
I have known Alex for a while, since 2015? 16?
Yeah, 15.
14, 15, 16, in that range. She came onto one of my boats. Boat parties, my only boat at the time.
Yeah.
And my boat party, that's how I met her. If you recognize Boat and me, I was on the first season of Too Hot to Handle. I was the one that have a boat. I don't live on the boat anymore, but we could talk more about that later.
Yeah.
But I don't really do so much reality anymore, but you'll see me in my next movie that we'll talk about called Jackalope that comes out next year. Very exciting stuff, but excited to be on the show.
Excited to have you. We're just going to do a little icebreaker
Cool.
so everyone gets to know you. What's one thing you think everyone should experience at least once in their life? Besides sex.
Okay, not sex related.
Yeah, not sex related.
Wow, that's a really good question. And I actually have thought about this recently, but I think everyone should go to a place, if they can, in a world where it is nothing like the place where they grew up.
Yeah.
And if they speak a different language, if they don't have air conditioning, if it's very cold or if it's very hot, and just to see how that side of the world lives or those type of people live, it can be really humbling to where you're from, or it could be interesting for another place to go and explore in the future.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's like literally what I did this summer. I don't know if I told you I went to Serbia.
No, but I know you went to Europe.
Yes, so I spent a lot of time in Europe, and I ended up in Serbia.
Whoa.
I stayed with a couple it's one of my friend's boyfriend's families.
Okay.
Following.
Yeah.
And they are like older. The couple is, I don't even know how old they are. Maybe in their 60s, only spoke Serbian.
Whoa.
And there's like very limited, like they were putting in the air conditioner when I got there, and they
for you.
I think so.
Probably. This girl can't handle it here like that.
And my mom was freaking out. I think that's like the biggest misconception is that my mom was like, "Wait, you can't go there. There's a war going on."
Yeah.
Like she really didn't know much about it because I think that the news talks about places really poorly because they don't want you to go because like the food's better. Honestly, the overall lifestyle is like just more quaint.
I bet.
Slow. And they literally grew their own food in a greenhouse. And the dad was so cute. He literally would electric scooter to his greenhouse. I don't even know what it is. Like plucking out the dirt, pulling out the potatoes, taking it back, cutting them up, making us full meals.
Probably the best food ever too, huh?
Yeah. And so over time, I started to catch on to Serbian, but at the beginning, I was like, can you Google Translate holding up
But
my
also,
phone?
how nice is that? You're actually learning a new language a little bit. And it really forces you to, if you're not good at it before, not to say you weren't or you probably are, but to read body language, to know how to give off body language, because your body, the way you do is a full language, right? Because if we can't talk, we have to be able to be like, so this, and I'm happy or I'm sad or I'm cold, You have
Literally.
to literally freeze, or it's fucking hot here.
Yeah, no. And it also, even Europe in general, I think that their priorities are so different than ours. So it was like a reflection moment for me because it was like, okay, my whole life is like work, work, work. Like I need to stay organized, me being OCD, like we were talking about earlier, and so many different things. And I was like, wow, like they literally just live such a slow paced lifestyle and their priority is family.
Yeah.
Or just their health in general. It's not,
a good way to live.
Work is like the last.
If you're making your own food and you're living in a place that's not going to cost $1 million like it does here.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, but the thing is, I personally, we could get into this later, I personally couldn't do that.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? I need to have things to do and
no.
people to see, and I like to entertain. It's what I do for a living, and it's what I do with my friend. Just a quiet life ain't for me.
No, I just felt like I was like simple life.
But a little bit.
Paris Hilton and simple life.
I see what you mean.
I was like, I'm living my simple life era for like a week or two.
For a week or two.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready. What's the strangest DM you've ever received, and did you respond?
early January 2019.
Okay. Was this pre-show, post-show?
Pre-show.
Okay.
I was with a friend and I got a DM request.
Yeah.
And I didn't get DM requests back then, obviously. And I'm like, that's weird. What's this little, like, you have a one request. So I click on it. This girl named Katie, and she's like, hey, are you interested in being on this show? It's going to be with a major streaming platform. Didn't say it's a dating show. Didn't say what platform it was, but... And I've gotten people coming up to me like, I grew up here, so it's, hey, do you want to be on MTV's this, or you want to be, not really, you know what I mean? But it just seemed interesting, and I probably wouldn't have responded, but this person I was with was like, you should respond. So I DM'd him back. I said, yeah, sure. Can I call you right now? I'm like, yeah. So I literally gave him my number, walked out. I was on my boat, walked out top on my boat, and I talked to this woman, Katie, for a little bit, and that was the first step into eventually what became Too Hot to Handle a few months later.
Yeah, I remember because I think we didn't hang out for a bit of time because I had moved to West Hollywood.
Yep.
And then I saw you out at Bungalow.
Right before I began filming,
literally
right?
the night before.
That's crazy.
And you were like, oh yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow to Mexico to some show. I have no idea what it was.
No idea what it was.
And then I don't know if you missed your flight or something.
It was pushed. Well, okay, there's a lot of stuff that happened with that. We could get into all the behind the scenes.
I just remember you were a little...
Yeah, there's a lot. It was very interesting on the early days of Too Hot to Handle before I was actually on the show. Like that week leading up was very exciting. But yes, that was, answer your DMs. You never know what could happen.
But what's the craziest DM you've gotten from a girl? Crazy. Not work-wise. Like,
I can't. There's a lot of, when you have some crazy
just nudes
fans. Oh my God, tons. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Not anymore. Becca, and Becca's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Not anymore, Becca, I promise. Yeah. You don't get any more DMs from nude.
No, I meant this was like right after show. I was assuming that you would get probably
got crazy stuff. Oh my God. Well, keep in mind when my show came out, it was COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
It was lockdown, can't leave your house COVID.
Yeah.
It was like, what are you doing today? Watching Netflix. That's it. Maybe going on a walk outside. That's it.
Literally what I did is I watched Too Hot to Handle, and there was like a few other shows.
Tiger King was on.
That's like a conspiracy theory that I do have, is that they planned out these shows.
Love is Blind.
Yeah.
Where you can't be, like The Circle, where you're stuck in your room talking to everybody.
All those shows
where Too Hot to Handle,
out.
Where you can't touch anybody.
Exactly.
And then COVID happens.
Yeah.
I don't know, Netflix. I don't know. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm with you on that. Trust me, I thought about it. We've all talked about it. Like, why are the 3 biggest shows on Netflix never been done before?
Yeah.
Right in a world where you have to do these 3 things.
And you guys filmed that year before.
A year before.
Yeah, so it was like in China being made, and they knew it.
It was like in China being made, Netflix on the line. Wait, we got to push it. By the way, it's coming out in April.
Yeah, because they want to normalize it for us.
Crazy.
That's one of my conspiracy theories.
That's a good one.
I really think it's the truth. Okay.
I agree.
Anyways, so what's something you think everyone misunderstands about you?
Well, it's partially my fault for playing up a character on Too Hot to Handle, but when you want to be on TV, especially reality TV and a social media personality, right now nowadays everyone's really, especially the younger generation, they really want to be just kind of like themselves but famous. Yeah. Right? They just want to be like, so reality, it's about you. My name's Bryce. I'm on this show. You're not like an actor. You're not like playing a character. But I come from the world where you're acting, right? So I could play a character. I could get on a show. Plus, I'm behind the camera as well as a director and a producer and an editor and a writer. So I know what it takes and what kind of people I would put on the show.
Yeah.
So I would be like, oh, I want that guy on the show. And the stuff that I said was just kind of wild. But I don't regret anything because it got me on the show and it got me the platform. And I used my platform now to show who I really am.
Yeah.
But for a long time, a lot of player womanizing misconception. Not to say that wasn't all true back in the day.
Well.
But I think people don't understand a lot about what they don't know about somebody, right? But what's not shown. You want to know a really big misconception that's Too Hot to Handle's fault? Is that I can't play music. They gave me the worst edit. They gave me a toy keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, play this song. And they cut around it to make it look like everyone was hearing crickets. We were jamming. We were jamming on the beach when I was playing that little toy keyboard. People were loving it, and they like literally made it look like it was like crickets, and it was awful. I do
remember that.
Yeah, I've released music. Like my music's pretty good.
Okay. What's something that you believe in that not many people agree with?
I don't know if a lot of people agree with this, but you could really deep dive into it because you could go a lot of ways with it. And this is, it all goes, kind of ties back into right before I got that DM for Too Hot to Handle. And it's a mixture of manifesting, but it's living the life that you want to live, right? Yeah. Being the person that you want to be, right? If you want to be, a very happy, funny, lovely person, be that person. If you want to be like a dark, quiet, cool person, be that person. If you want to be rich, spend your money. Yeah. Hang out with rich people. You know what I mean? Live your life. Yeah. Go on trips. If you want to have a family date, meet people. You have to try to do whatever you want because the more you do with your life, the more like things that it's like retail therapy, right? Mm-hmm. If you want, sometimes you buy something, you feel really good about it afterwards. Like, oh, I fucking love this thing, right? Why? It's just a piece of clothing or something, but maybe you feel really good. Like maybe you feel like a totally different person, right? And if you surround yourself with enough things that make you want to be the person that you are, and hopefully you want to be someone who's a good, a value to society, then you should do it. And that's how I live my life. Not yet, I will. This is a big year for me, knock on wood. I have never made a ton of money, but I'm good at this year. I'm very excited about that. I'm going to make a lot of money this year. But I've always lived like I will or have. You know what I mean? I didn't used to be.
Yeah, I'm like living on the boat. I don't know if that's giving rich.
The boat actually afforded me a lot of lifestyle freedom because it was so inexpensive to live on the boat. I could go on trips and I could go to nice dinners and things like that because I don't have to worry about paying a massive rent. Right. I pay rent now, it's not massive, but it's like nowadays, before Too Hot to Handle, I was someone who was pretty insecure, didn't know really where my life was going, tried a lot of things, maybe not failed, but maybe didn't have the outcome that I would like to have. Had bad relationships that were that I got out of or whatever, that were broken up with or whatever, and went through a lot of dark times. Mm-hmm. But when I decided that I didn't want to be a depressed person, then I wasn't. Yeah. And it wasn't just, oh, I don't want to be depressed. Oh, okay, I'm not then. Right. No, it's more, you know what? I'm going to consciously manifest and make an effort to be this person that I want to be. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden things started happening. Yeah. And it's something that I believe in. Absolutely.
No, I will say the Bryce that I met on the boat in 2015 to the Bryce I know now is a completely different person. Totally. Yeah. And I think that going on a show and getting validation and getting your name out there, of course, all those things are great. And I think that it helps you with confidence and feel more secure. But there's also work that you have to put in externally outside of that. Big time. And so, I say I'm a good witch. Obviously, I believe in God, but I'm like, I will cast my little spells, do my affirmations. Sure. And some people are like, yes. Some people are like, that's crazy. I don't think it's crazy at all. But I think that I think that the power of speaking things into existence or writing things, people they undervalue. Yes. Because whatever you put out into the world, especially like I believe in spirit guides, kind of like angels. Okay. And I read a book and they were like, how are your spirit guides going to know this? They're not going to read your mind. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, if you have belief in God, like, he is going to guide you and lead the way, but you also need to put it out there. So, like, speaking things, which was so crazy after I read this book, I was back in Texas. And even like starting the podcast, I was like,
I was about to say that. That's a big step. That's kind of a new thing. Yeah. But if you want to do it, you say it and then you do it.
Yeah. Right? And like, I have narcolepsy. Like, I love sleeping. I do love being in social like environments and talking to people, but I definitely have my limit to where I'm like, okay, I wouldn't say I'm like a very talkative person.
I think it depends on who you're around.
Yeah. Or who I'm around. Yeah. So the podcast, I was like, okay, this is like a new thing for me. It's different for you, yeah, it's different. But I think that me and like the work that I put into myself this year and like just confidence-wise and, who I want to be, I was like, okay, I need to make this step because I am going to feel more confident in myself doing it. But getting back to the spirit guides,
yes,
ADHD, but I was just on a walk and I was like, okay, if I'm supposed to start a podcast, have a butterfly land on me, because that is supposedly like the way that my grandmother speaks to me. And I'm walking my dog and all of a sudden a butterfly, I'm like, what the heck is on my head? So I take my camera and I go like this. There's a butterfly on top of my head. I'm not joking you. I have a photo.
I see. That's the thing right there. You should put it up on the screen right now.
Yeah.
It's things like that.
Yeah. I sent it to my mom and I was like, are you kidding? And then the next day I was like, okay, coincidental, whatever. I asked again, I'm supposed to start this podcast. Please show me a butterfly. Butterfly lands on my hand. Like crazy stuff. So yes, I definitely think that is one thing, is putting out like what you want to be, and it will happen.
There's another thing to piggyback off of that, is because it's really interesting talking to people that feel this way. Along those same lines, I was very skeptical when I think people about manifesting, right? It's like bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, I want a Lamborghini, and then all of a sudden the Lamborghini's like, okay, that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also, when you do things enough and you see things start to happen and you really truly believe in that kind of those things, it is wild what the universe will do. Mm-hmm. I've seen it, not in the grandest of scales, but the thing is too is you can't be afraid to fail. Right. Because similarly to what I would like to say what I would say to myself when I used to be sad, or it's just, listen, if you're always happy, or if you're always kind of just fine, then you won't really appreciate the really highs of life, which is the best part. Right? And you will never, I've been so low before that little things just make me so fucking happy. If you treat it like this is your world, this is your universe, this is your story, then it's every chapter, right? That chapter was rough, but something good's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why it's borderline. Are we in a simulation? Who's controlling us? Because
I got some simulation theories too.
Oh my gosh, I need to hear, because it's so crazy how, putting things out in the universe, like, yes, there is, the faith side of it, and then the spiritual angel side of it. But then it's also, some things is just what the fuck retrograde.
Crazy,
simulation is going on.
There's this one little thing. Becca and I went to New York City. She had never been. So with that, we got off the airplane at JFK, and we were towards the back of the plane. Let's call it for the math purposes. Let's say it was a 30-row plane. We're probably in row 20.
Okay.
And it wasn't like people were taking a very long time to get off the plane, but it was like a regular pace. People got their bag, they left the plane. Got their bag, left the plane. We got our bag, we leave the plane. And it's a long kind of gangway that gets you back into the terminal, but we get off the airplane and we just start walking, mm-hmm. and there is no one in front of us at all. And
even all the people that got off the plane?
No one's in front of us.
Okay.
So basically, it's like the people who got off the plane, now right before us, it's like we made a wrong turn, but there was no other way to turn. There was a straight tunnel that goes this. It's like they all got up and sprinted.
Stop.
It was a really weird situation that I kind of paid attention to, and I looked over back. I'm like, where did everyone go? And we kept walking at let's try to walk faster.
Baggage claim is usually like one straight shot. Shot. There's not two.
There was nobody. And then we walked faster to see if there was anybody there, and then no one was behind us. It was a really, really weird situation. The only other time that ever happened on that same trip, on our way back to JFK, we got off the A train and into like the tram, whatever, that takes you to all the terminals.
Yeah.
And to get off the A train and into that, I forgot what it's called, the air track or whatever, air tram, we walked up the stairs and we were all trying to catch the doors were closing. We're like, oh shoot, let's all get it. So a bunch of people were running off the A train to try to get on the air tram to get to their terminal.
Okay.
But the doors just closed.
Okay.
We're like, oh shoot, we missed it. We were leading the pack.
Okay.
I turn around and we're the only people.
Weird.
Like, where did they all go?
That's crazy.
And it was the only 2 times I've ever seen that happen, and it was both in JFK. And I'm like, that's a really weird, glitchy simulation of JFK, that trip. Yeah. It's the only time it's ever happened to me, but I'm like, whoa, that could be real.
Yeah, all the simulation stories I've heard is people going somewhere. There's one place, I believe it's like New Zealand or Australia, where it snows. And this girl, she was like with a big group of people. She gets on the ski lift and goes up. And she gets off with all of her friends and she starts skiing down. She looks around, there's no one there. Like, not anyone. And she was not good at like skiing or, I don't know if it was skiing or snowboarding. Mm-hmm. And so she was like, holy crap, I don't know what to do. So she just like starts going down and she's like trying to catch the air lift or whatever, trying to catch the ski lift to see around her, to see if she could see anyone. So she gets on it and there's absolutely nobody around her. So she finally gets down and it's literally a ghost town. The town that she saw before was completely different. Like all the stores were closed. It was like desolate, like nobody. So then she like catches a bus or something to back to her group to the house. And she walks in and everyone like acted like she was not missing for hours. But she had her phone with her and her phone turned off. And when she turned it back on, she was like, it literally had been like 6 hours. I need to find like what place it is.
That's a really interesting situation. Now, devil's advocate, ski slopes can be really confusing and you can take a mountain down to a different town. That has happened.
But it's like multiple people have heard of.
I buy that. That just be devil's advocate. I mean, listen, there's probably an explanation for everything. Yeah. But I don't not agree with it because it's weird. Who knows? There's a lot of, we're not the only people here, put it that way.
I want to go into the simulation. So if you're like
if you're watching
whoever is like controlling me, take me to the simulation. I want to experience it.
Yeah. And if you're a listener and you know more about this, I'll come back on and we'll have you on the show.
Yeah, literally.
Because I want to talk more about this.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because you're on Too Hot to Handle. And then also I knew pre-Bryce before Too Hot to Handle. So I would say now you're in a relationship. When I met you, I met a lot of different girls. Let's just put it that way. You weren't dating all of them, but like some you're good friends with. But how has your perspective on relationships changed over the years? And did Too Hot to Handle have any impact on the way you thought of relationships?
So on the Too Hot to Handle aspect of it first, the best part about that show in particular, and you mentioned it in the beginning of this when you said I feel like Too Hot to Handle probably gave me validation. What it really was the process of what they did on the show. I've never been to a therapist. Not that I don't believe in or anything. I just probably never could afford going to a therapist. I probably would love to talk about myself for a while. But no, I've never been to therapy. I've never done anything like that.
Okay.
And it was very kind of like in this own maybe self-absorbed world where at that time it wasn't a very good world of mine either, but it was a bad world that I was creating probably because of my self-conscious and what I was surrounding myself with and whatever it was. It just wasn't good. I got out of a really tough relationship at the time that I always say that the last long relationship that I had right before Too Hot to Handle, even though she broke up with me, I think that I cannot blame her. Like I was a drag. Basically, I was a bummer. Like I wasn't a fun person to be around. I was depressed, and it was just I would have not want to date me.
Yeah.
And so when I went on Too Hot to Handle, it was like therapy, and we did lots of like self-empowering exercises.
Okay.
If you rewatch season one, it's like
show,
it's like a lot of. I talked about being bullied as a kid, and we talked about treating yourself better and respecting relationships, but loving yourself, and a lot of stuff like that. And you think you love yourself, but I didn't, not at all. Hated myself because you could see how my life was going. If you love yourself, your life would be better because you would do things better. You know, you would have more fun with yourself. You know what I mean? And after I got back, I felt like a new man. Wow. And immediately I changed because I only needed myself to be validated. That led me to make myself more available for relationships. Now, I did have a couple relationships in between getting off the show and the show coming out.
Okay.
I was not a good boyfriend.
Yeah.
I was not a good boyfriend. I was never anyone's boyfriend, and that's part of the reason I wasn't a good boyfriend. I would say, don't call me that. I ain't your boyfriend.
Do you think it was more like an ego thing? Like, I know that the show's coming out. I'm going to have a lot of options.
There was that, and I told girls that.
Yeah.
And I was not very nice to them. And even when the show was out, I wanted to maintain a single life persona, maybe for the social media thing of it, maybe because I thought there might have been better things out there than the people I were dating at the time. But I did not treat the girls that I was with well at all. I mean, on the surface I did.
Yeah.
And like I gave them the love that, surface level stuff. And I made them feel special, but then I did not give them much more than that. Everything was very surface level,
yeah.
and some of them really liked me at some point, and I did not like them like that. And it ended in heartbreak for me too, because I went through a process where I felt really, really bad about the way I treated some of these girls, just like emotionally, just being so unavailable to them. When I thought I was available, I just was. But I learned a lot, and I swore I would never do anything like that again. And I got very, very lucky that I met Becca in the beginning of 2022, and it was just she's been a very great teammate of mine. Yeah. And I don't know if I would have been ready for the relationship. I almost am certain that I would not have been maybe never ready for a relationship if I didn't go through the therapeutic process of 2 Hot Sandal at least.
If a guy treats a girl like shit,
yeah,
and then they break up, and maybe they do their healing, self-reflection, whatever, is there usually like remorse? Or do you think that do most guys like look back and have those moments of, yeah, I treated her shitty? Because, like whenever you're like breaking up with someone, they're like, oh no, I treated her so well. I did everything right. But then, maybe they didn't.
In the circumstances that I was in one in particular that I point to is when I would end that, it ended in flames. It was not good.
Yeah, I remember one of them.
And then I felt very, very bad. Sick, really. They started dating someone else, and I felt even worse. Because then I started thinking, what have I done? And now I feel alone, and I'm not really getting I'm not looking for love, and I get, going to other dates and like that, but I'm not really, it's not feeling right. And I was so regretful and I would run back things that I would say to this girl. it's hard to laugh, but it's like it's so bad. I would say things that they were just very rude. I'd be having a bad day, and she'd be like telling me about her day, but like, yo, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't give a fuck. And I'm like,
Bryce.
I know, and I'm like, I don't know why I would say I would never now, because
you were just a little narcissistic at the time. Maybe.
No, it wasn't even that. I just didn't respect the relationships.
Okay.
I just didn't respect relationships. And usually I really do have respect for everybody, but when you go through so much turmoil in a relationship, you're mean to them a lot.
Right.
I can't be the only person who's ever said something rude to their significant other at the time.
Yeah.
But I did feel really, really bad at night. And as you grow, you learn how to be very patient and choose where you want to go with your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, at least for me, you think something's right at the time, and you sabotage it, and I did essentially on purpose by just being a dick. A lot of ways.
What's one conspiracy you secretly believe in or think might be actually true?
I'll tell you, that Netflix thing, I've thought about that before, and I was just reminded of that. But when you said it, that is that a little bit, that a lot of it. Okay. Simulation a little bit.
Okay.
Do you know what's with social media these days? There's so many people with different opinions about whatever,
Yeah.
I hear a lot of really smart people, or appear to be really smart people with a lot of interesting facts, and they say some cool things sometimes, and I'm like, you know what? Did we go to the moon?
No, we didn't.
You're right?
No, we didn't.
Like,
no.
And I'm a movie maker, right? So you have the Kubrick made the moon landing thing and this and that, and then if you go back to you couldn't have a cell phone back then, but you're gonna make a rocket that takes people to the moon.
Right.
I don't know, maybe.
And stick a flag on it.
And stick a flag on it. It was already there. Where was how'd the camera get there?
Yeah, it's just too weird. What do you think about the Diddy thing?
Oh.
You don't want to comment.
I don't want to comment.
He's too scared.
I'm too scared to comment.
That's crazy.
No comment on the Diddy anything.
Okay.
I'm
in the movie industry. I'm not going to get blackballed.
I'm not.
But
or murdered.
I will join if you reach out.
If you're here, it's cool. I'll wear a dress on TV or whatever.
Yes.
The humiliation thing. I think everything's really interesting. I saw the other day that Jamie Foxx is rumored to be the person who called the feds on Diddy. Do you hear that? Because Jamie Foxx got really sick.
Yes,
He thinks that Diddy did it. This is me just repeating what I've seen on TikTok and shit. But I think it's really wild, and I'm really nervous to see what else comes of this because, for a long time, I knew a lot of people who were very close to him. Mm-hmm. One of my best girlfriends at the time, many, many years ago, was very close to him.
I need her on the podcast.
Oh my God. I bet you she would never.
I'll
try to reach out to her.
No, there's a lot of people coming out and talking about it openly. Yes. Like it's.
I'm not going to mention her too much, but put it this way. Yeah. We were like 1 degree separation away from him. Okay. And we'd hear really interesting things, some good things, some bad things. And I never thought this would happen.
Yeah.
And it's in everything that you hear now more and more. It's hard to believe because you're like, really? All these people are that bad and the trafficking and this and that? It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really sad and scary how fucked up some of the world is. It's really, I want it to not be true.
Right.
But
it's true.
It's true, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So with Too Hot to Handle, you obviously already spoke about the audition process a little bit. How many auditions?
Yeah, I'll give you a little rundown.
Yeah, a little rundown. Just
basically,
short.
The DM, the first phone call, that was I want to call it a Sunday.
Okay.
They said, hey, how about Thursday? We'll do a Zoom or a Skype or whatever it was at the time. We'll do a Skype on Thursday for an hour and a half. Oh, shit, okay.
Okay.
And I thought it was really good. Solid audition. Treated it like an audition.
Character, fuckboy, lives on a boat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, we don't know. It's a dating. We don't know if it's a competition show. We don't know if it's we have obviously no idea that it's a can't touch each other sex rehab essentially. But I just was like, listen, this guy is good TV.
Yeah.
And I'm I know that this character I'm playing is gonna be great TV. You got to be just charismatic and charming and funny and good looking or whatever. So I'm I could play that character. So I did it. I'm happy with it. This is let's call it second week of January 2019.
Okay.
I started dating another girl at the time, and I get a call back a week before Valentine's Day. And this girl that I was dating at the time was like, that's really exciting because we don't know it's a dating show. We just know it's a Netflix show. And I'm like, yeah, this sounds interesting. This sounds fun. She said, and I'm I was kind of iffy on it. I'm I don't know. She goes, no, you get really famous from Netflix shows, And I'm this is Netflix. At the time, Netflix is.
Yeah, I was going to say Too Hot to Handle season 1. I feel like you guys were the start of
now Netflix, everyone's on it.
It's huge, yeah.
Huge. Before then,
was that Carrie,
Francesca.
Yeah.
They moved me forward. They all fly out to LA to meet me.
Just you?
Well, no, they flew, whoever they had held on in-persons with the finalists, I think around the country. I don't think they sent everyone to LA.
Okay.
They may have, but I was the only one from LA. So, yes, they came for me. So I only had to drive up the road. It was Valentine's Day when I met him.
Oh, wow.
And left the girl's place. And she said, my sister dated a guy who was on Last Chance U, and that guy got 200,000 followers. I'm like, really?
What's Last Chance U?
It's that football show on Netflix. And it was back in the day. I'm like, people get followers like that on Netflix shows? I'm like, okay, cool. And I had a great audition, and I remember every morning, I would get a WhatsApp message from them at 4 a.m. saying things like, what's your favorite food? And then I think they talked to my mom and dad or one of them. They started calling my friends and started calling exes and things like that to get a little read on me.
Did you preface that they're going to call them? Like, especially your exes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, reference list. I put down the numbers.
Oh, okay.
I had to make sure you have to call the right people. But
no, did you tell the exes?
If I gave them the number, I told them, I gave them your number.
Oh, okay.
But I have a great relationship with most of my exes.
Yeah.
So I then, and mid-March, right around St. Paddy's Day, so about like a month later, they're like, hey, you're in. You're going to be on the show. And I'm like, well, that's really fucking exciting. It's like landing an audition, which is very, very hard to do.
So it was basically 3 auditions.
It was like 3 auditions, yeah.
Oh.
But this is the craziest part that no one really knows about. Basically, they said, so you're going to be the bombshell. We're bringing you in late.
Oh, okay.
There's going to be 10 people, 5 guys, 5 girls, and you're the 11th. They told me that ahead of time.
Oh, so you weren't like hungover and missed your flight?
No. So what happened was everyone got flown out like the last week of March. I was flown out. It was supposed to be April 1st. It ended up being April 2nd.
Okay.
And so it was a day I was going to miss my brother's birthday, April Fool's Day, my brother. Then I went on April 2nd to Puerto Vallarta, which is one of my favorite places on earth to go. So I show up at Puerto Vallarta. I have a beer at the bar, like I always do. I had them make the driver wait. I had a beer with him, actually. But I'm just like, listen, I'm like, hey, it's tradition. Every time I go to Mexico, I got to have a beer immediately.
Yeah, of course.
Boom. So we all had beers together. And then I speak Spanish. So I was trying to ask him questions on the way for him to drop me off. And he wasn't telling me much, but you could tell that he wasn't really hired by Fremantle, the people who made it.
Okay.
He was just kind of, he was like, he wasn't a part of their production, but he was hired by them. So he didn't really know that he wasn't allowed to talk to the contestants. None of the contestants should speak Spanish. So I'm like asking him, like, what do the girls look like? How fun is it? Cool. Like, and the guy's kind of like giving me like, you're gonna have a good time. So I get dropped off at the Fiesta Americana in Puerto Vallarta. It's this big, beautiful, all-inclusive hotel. So usually on reality shows, you get off the plane, a producer meets you there. Mm-hmm. They take your cell phone. They take you to the hotel. They say, this is your room. They give you your bags. They search your bags, make sure you don't have any like paraphernalia or any other phones or anything like that. And then you're locked in your room.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And then they come into your room or they'll call your room and give you updates, or sometimes they'll let you go outside for 15 minutes a day. This was the first season of Too Hot to Handle, right? So they didn't really know what to expect or what to do. So... And I was prepared to like, I brought a deck of cards. I like hid in like a wheel well of like my suitcase, so I had something to do to not go crazy. Because apparently some of these people will try to make you go crazy in your hotel room, so you like are a wild person when it's like a psychological warfare on these shows. So I prepared myself for that. Okay. Like I wrote I made this whole thing. I knew exactly how I would entertain myself. Sometimes they take TVs out of the rooms. Like I've heard crazy things. So I'm expecting the worst. And the driver gets out, and I'm expecting, he's just, adios, amigo. I'm like, all right. I walk up the stairs to the check-in. I still have my phone. I still have my bag. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm texting. I said, hey, I'm arrived. Like, great,
Yeah.
We'll be in touch soon. All right, great. I'm like, okay, well, I have my phone for a little bit. I'll call my mom. I get to the front desk, and they're expecting me. I got the works. They give me a wristband, and it's all you could eat, all you could drink. Right?
Oh, wow.
I said, that's sweet. Go up to my room, a big, bin many of those for me in flowers and like some chocolate covered strawberries. I'm like, fridge full of beer. I'm like, it's pretty cool. And I'm just thinking, don't come. I want to keep my phone. I just want to enjoy, how long could I stay here?
How many beers can I have?
How many beers can I have, right? And then eventually Sam, one of the producers, comes and he goes, hey, I'm on my way. And he comes and he gives me the rundown. He says, all right, tomorrow we're going to take you to do your intro video. So just enjoy the night and we'll see you tomorrow. That's so nice. He leaves. So I'm at the pool, I'm at the swim up bar, you know what I mean? I'm having a great time by myself.
Yeah.
FaceTiming mom and dad, posting on close friend stories. Yo, I'm about to be on this fucking show, A lot of send us outfits for what you're gonna wear tomorrow, send them in. Well, okay, you'll wear that.
Oh yeah, I've heard that's a thing. Like they have to approve all your
everything.
outfits.
So I did. I'm ready. I go. I hop in the back. And we drive about an hour towards Sayulita to a place called Punta Mita.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Which is where really that Four Seasons is.
Yeah.
And so they did it at the Four Seasons. So I've been to the Four Seasons as a young boy when I was really little, and I've been to Puerto Vallarta a few other times, but I've been a lot since recently. Actually, shout out to Maxwell Residences. I got to
I was supposed to go with you guys.
You were supposed to go with us. I know.
In February.
Yeah, you
have
bailed.
To go again.
What a bummer.
No, I got so sick.
I know. Excuses. Anyways, so I get up there, and Adam is one of the directors on it. He said, "Hey, I cut your video. I'm so excited to have you, blah, blah, blah." And he getting me really fired up. And he sits me down on the log and he goes, "By the way, there is no guarantee you're on the show. It's down to you and a couple other people. So you give it all you got."
Stop.
And I'm like, oh,
I did not know this.
No way. So I'm like, and I was like totally shook up. And I'm like,
did you see them when you were out, out and about?
Or they
lied?
No. I know this for a fact.
Other people?
Yeah. Because Corey came on later. He was there for 2 weeks in the hotel room.
Okay.
So,
oh my God.
So I'm there and I'm like, all right. And I'm thinking, all right, this is what you live for. This is pressure. I always perform well. I was always an athlete.
Yeah, you're like,
I was always an athlete.
Bryce said that he had a chance to be a professional athlete and he would wait to tell me on the podcast. So
I will. I'll tell you how I could have been a professional athlete. I'll tell you. We'll get to that in a second. But I always perform well under pressure. I love the pressure. So I'm like, all right, I love that you said that. So it just reminded me to just turn up that notch. And I remember the first question they asked was, when was the last time you had sex? That was the first question they asked. And I'm like, in the hotel room last night. I was just kidding. And I just said just kidding after, and everyone was fucking dying. They put that in the show. They put that line in it. That was like the first thing they say. It's like, yeah.
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
I'm in the fucking hotel room last night. I'm like, that was a joke, but whatever. But I knew it. And I knew that even if I was kidding, worst case scenario, I'm in the fucking show.
Right.
Because they're going to put those lines in. So I just fit them one-liners. So I was being as funny and as misogynistic and as fucking hilarious as an extra and like being such a douchebag. And like, this guy is going to be TV gold in my head.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, when am I going to hear like what the news is?
Yeah.
So this was like, let's say I got there on a Monday. This was on a Tuesday. Wednesday. Don't hear anything.
Oh, wow.
Text like, hey, we'll keep Thursday. Don't hear anything. And I'm like, at this point, I've been at this hotel eating and drinking for free for 4 days with my phone, chilling, calling people. But I'm like, I'm not going to get on this fucking show.
Yeah.
Friday comes, they said, okay, you're in. You're going to be in tomorrow. We're going to come take your bag or whatever and sign the rest of your papers. So I go, they take me to the Marriott where we stay a couple times since. And I meet the rest of the producers, and I sign the papers, and they're like, all right, you're going on tomorrow. This was like Friday, so Saturday I'm going on.
Okay.
And I get back to the hotel room excited, and then a couple hours later, they're like, actually, you're not going on until next Wednesday.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I'm barely going to be on this fucking show. I know they're filming.
So at this point, it's been a week.
It's been at this point, it's been the show. First day of filming was the day I got there, which was a Monday. It's been like 4 days.
Okay.
It's been like 4 days. So I'm like, oh, they're gonna be done with the fucking show by the time I get there. So I'm like, or am I not even gonna get? Are they just pulling my chain? Right? I'm like, it was really stressful. I called my dad. I said, hey, I got 2 queens here. It's Mexico. Come join me. It's all you could drink. He's okay, cool. But unfortunately, my dad had really bad kidney stones at the time, so he sent my brother, which was also fine because I like my brother Barrett. He
came.
Yeah, so he came.
Oh, fun.
So Barrett came on Sunday, the next day. And Sunday morning or whatever, Sunday afternoon, we hung out at the bar, swim up bar, had dinner, blah, blah, blah. And then, hey, Bryce, I'm going to come see you. Sam, the producer, comes and, hey, my brother's here. Oh, hi. Good news, you're actually going on tomorrow.
Oh, shoot.
Okay. So I'm like, all right, well, that's good for me, and then I ended up just giving Barrett my wristband. He stayed for another few days on their dime, which was pretty cool. But the last bit of the audition that was pretty weird was when I was picked up the next morning. I was finally had my phone taken. Right?
Okay.
So they take my phone finally. Say your goodbyes, take a selfie. Hey, I'm on the way to set or whatever. Cool.
Yeah.
I get to the gate. Actually, they weren't ready for me. I was supposed to be there in the morning. We drove around Punta de Mita for like hours. Had lunch somewhere.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
Now we're ready. Went to the Westin. Came.
Had a few more drinks.
Got there. they are about to go into like where the villa is, Casa Tau, which is the villa that we stayed at. And basically, they blindfold me. They take me up to this room. They take the blindfold off. And I in the Netflix, the head of Netflix now, the first time I've seen their Netflix representative comes up to me and they're like, Bryce, it's an American guy, is how I know it's the Netflix guy. And they said that. But he's like, all right, you're my guy. You know, I wanted you to be the person to come in. I think anyone else could do this. How are you gonna do it? How are you gonna come in and how are you gonna do it?
Yeah.
And I thought about it in my head. I'm like, I've seen TV shows and things like that. I was gonna probably come in, probably play pretty cool, you know, kind of like probably try to find like the cutest girl there. Maybe have her give me a tour of the place.
At this point, did you know the concept of the show?
No,
did they brief you, or at this point you're like, oh, it may be, it's a reality show?
I don't even know if I know it's reality. I don't know if it's a dating show.
Okay.
I know nothing at all. I'm thinking I'm gonna find the cutest girl there. I'm gonna have her like give me a tour of the place. I'll make friends with the guys, and I'm just gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Just be really cool, play cool. And I told the guy that. He goes, nah. I need you loud, and I want you to walk in and fucking make a statement.
Oh my God.
You only have one chance to make this first impression. We can't redo it. You need to be big. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, that is not how I would walk into a place where someone's been living together for a week and I'm the new guy.
Right.
That is not how you do it.
Yeah.
So that's the first time you see me on Too Hot to Handle. And when I go up there, basically, I kind of introduce myself to everybody, and then they're like, yeah, by the way, this is the rules. And Kells and Matt, I believe, are the first two people to say it. Have you met everybody? When Kells was in town, did you meet Kells?
Possibly.
But I was actually Kells just won his fight. I was just texting with him. But he's throwing a box now, as he should. He's a beast. But basically, they're like, yeah, so you can't kiss any of the girls, you can't touch any of the girls, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and these guys are all like 6'6".
Oh, really?
Yeah, Kells, Matt, and Harry are all 6'6".
Okay.
Harry was actually nice to me at the time. But Kells, at the time, not anymore. Kells and Matthew they were big, but they're all like, you know, and I'm just like, oh, you guys gonna bully me out of talking to your girls really on the first day? And they're like, no, dude, we're serious. That's the rules. And I'm like, what are the rules? The rules are, you can't this. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. And I'm like, oh, my mom's going to love this fucking show.
Yeah, this is perfect.
This is perfect. And that's basically like the intro and you know, the rest is history after that. But
was it scripted?
So the way that the show worked is that I would say 99, actually, I don't know how many. If I was in 100 shots of the movie, let's call it 99 of them, I knew that I was being filmed for a purpose.
Okay. What does that mean?
Like, it wasn't a hidden camera thing.
Oh.
It wasn't like, there were cameras everywhere.
You were directed. It wasn't
I was
scripted,
directed, right.
Basically.
So, right, exactly. So, there's a scene of me and Chloe brushing our teeth together in the bathroom, like kind of flirting. That's the only time in the entire show that it was like, oh, that wasn't a setup scene. That was like one morning we had like a cute interaction. Every time that I had a conversation with a guy or a girl, the rest of the time was like, Bryce, I want you to go sit over there and talk to Sharon about this.
Okay. Were you drug tested, like STD tested?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we were. We had to have a physical.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
They also give you like a sex like awareness like seminar beforehand.
Yeah.
Like for liability purposes. There's also a psychologist on set if anyone's like having a mental breakdown. It's very hard to be on set for that long from your friends and family.
Long?
I was there for 3 weeks.
Okay. Why aren't you and Harry friends anymore?
Long story. You try to sneak that in. You try to sneak that in.
I want to know the tea.
I'll tell you the tea. You know, I've never really talked about that in public about anybody.
No.
Basically,
it's not negative.
It's not negative. It's
facts.
just yeah. Am I going to give you the exclusive of what happened here?
Yes.
Sure. Why not? Basically, Harry and I were very, very good friends for a long time. He lived with me on my boat.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's a really interesting thing that went down where Harry and Francesca, who were dating on and off, they stopped dating and they got in a big fight. And at one point, it's all public knowledge. They were like threatening to sue each other. I don't know if anyone actually was sued or whatever, but it was contentious. And I don't really have loyalties to anybody. We're all friends of the same. We're all his friends. We're all the cast. And Francesca, I was about to go to Cabo, and Frankie's Farrago the label has a men's line. So Just I had a photo shoot for the Drip Dry.
Yeah. I think I met her on the boat one time.
Yeah, for sure. She's a sweetheart. Basically, I've helped her with took photo pictures for her bathing suit.
Okay.
And I sent them in and she posted it. And I thought there was nothing wrong with that. And then I actually went to, what was the name of the girls' place? They all lived together. Where like Tila used to live there.
Oh, I used to go there all the time.
Yeah. Clubhouse. So I went to Clubhouse.
Okay.
It was like a week later. Okay. Or like that day. Day after she posted it. And I tried calling him. And he didn't answer me. I'm like, that's weird. I hope he's not mad about the Francesca thing. And then I looked at my phone and he unfollowed me on Instagram. And that was the last time I heard from Harry.
Have you reached out? No.
I guess. I haven't reached out though. No.
You weren't like, oh, why'd you unfollow
me? He doesn't like me very much anymore because after that, put it this way, I chose Francesca's side.
Oh, okay. As you should. Would you go back on another reality show?
Sure. If not a dating one, obviously.
Yeah.
But if there was like a competition one, I fucking love Survivor. Circle? The Circle seems like a very hard show. I've talked to Joey about The Circle. He says I've talked to Mitch about The Circle. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I'd like to go on a show with Becca if I could. Not like a Temptation Island thing or anything, but like an Amazing Race. I think me and Alex Mandel would be great on Amazing Race. Yes. I think my mom always says you should talk to Alex about going to Amazing Race. We should.
Yeah.
I want to go on Amazing Race with him so much. Something like that, I would do it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite reality show?
Survivor.
Right now?
Always Survivor.
No, like that's
it's
such
on.
an OG.
It's on. It's on every Wednesday
What's
night.
your favorite Netflix reality show?
Love is Blind, duh.
Love is Blind.
Not this season, though. This season fucking sucks. I could come back for an episode 2 of how much I fucking hate this season of Netflix. Bad. I think these people are awful.
It's so bad.
These people are awful on Love is Blind right now. I feel so bad for all these people.
Yeah, I'm like, bring Megan Fox back.
Might as well. Golly.
I could never.
No.
I'm sorry, not even being superficial, but...
No way. No shot.
There's so many people in life I run into that, like, I love conversating with, and, like, we get along, and we share, like, similar views, but I would never be sexually attracted to that person.
No. I'm with you.
So, like, I get it, but at the same time, it's, like, crazy. There's actually people that have had babies.
I know. There's a lot of successes from that show.
Obviously, you would go back on a reality show if it was, like, Survivor or Amazing Race, but you've kind of transitioned out of that, but you're still in, like, the film space.
Yes.
As a writer and producer.
And director, yeah.
And director, excuse me. So, what are some of your upcoming projects? I know that you have a movie coming out.
I do. We are just a couple days away from wrapping production of Jackalope, which is my latest horror movie. Mm-hmm. I made a movie many years ago. I guess it's many years ago now. Back in 2018, it was in theaters called Counterfeiters, which I wrote, directed, produced, and starred in as well. Mm-hmm. Similar thing this time around for Jackalope, except for now I got to bring my buddy Alex Mandel with me to co-star with me, and Catherine Corcoran, who's in the Terrifier franchise, among other things. It's a very, very scary, very thrilling. I sent you the script a long time ago. The script's changed a bunch since then, but I just showed you the trailer. The trailer's pretty.
Yeah, honestly, I was shocked at the trailer. Not that I, like, wasn't expecting, like, anything good, but it's just, like,
It's sick, right?
Way better than I thought.
Yeah, wait till you see the whole thing. Yeah. It's going to be really great. So I'm really excited about that. Deadline just posted their article about it. So it's all about the hype train for that. And eventually, once I finish that, I'm also editing it. So I'll get my sound people in line, make it sound really spooky and scary, get a good little score behind it, and then we'll start talking about where everyone's going to watch it. And then we'll have our meetings with people of, the Netflixes of the world. Maybe I go full circle and go back on Netflix, and maybe we do, or maybe we do the Fox thing with Tubi. Maybe we do, CBS and Paramount. Maybe we do.
Since you have the connections with Netflix, could you?
I think that there's the merit of this movie is going to be very good.
Yeah. There's
a movie on Netflix right now called It's What's Inside, I believe is what it's called. It's kind of a cool concept, but like a first-time director, which is, technically I'm a second-time director, but, a new director, an unknown cast is in that movie, and we're relatively unknown. We're not like Brad Pitt over here. Yeah. And Netflix just bought it for $17 million.
Oh, wow.
So I think that we're very hopeful that our movie could sell for a good amount of money. Will sell for lots of money, and it'll lead to me making more movies, and that's what I really love. That's really where my passion is, and I'm very excited to do that. I have a new one's ready to go.
Really? Is that what it's about?
Yeah, it's a psychological thriller about a guy who gets out of prison for murdering his wife.
Oh my gosh, can I be in it?
You can. You
Yes.
can. It's that's an even better script than Jackalope, but Jackalope's pretty damn.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so when does it come out?
Oh, sometime next year.
Okay, last segment is Dear Dry Diaries. It's basically just a little segment where people write in anonymous questions.
Okay.
And so there were a few questions. I kind of geared them more towards the ones that I could find that would be relatable to you that you could answer.
Okay.
So the first one is, Dear Dry Diaries, if I like a guy's Instagram photos and comment, is that enough to show interest, or should I go further? I don't want to come across as desperate, but I also don't want to be overlooked. Where's the line?
Okay, here, I'll give you 3 different scenarios, right?
Okay.
The first scenario is it's like a celebrity that you're commenting on and they're never going to see your fucking comment. Right? There's that. And if they do and you're a cute girl or whatever and they're interested, they'll comment back and they'll get it. Yeah. They already probably know you're into them because they're a celebrity. That's one option.
They know that you're a fangirl.
Right, so. Right. So then you've done enough. You're fine. You can slide in the DMs and won't do any difference. If it's someone that you know and you've already been like friendly with, then you might need to go a little further because like, if I'm trying to put myself in my single past, if I had a girl comment on a picture of mine, even a hard eyes, I probably would have been like, oh, they're just being nice.
Really?
Yeah, depending on my relationship with them.
Okay.
If we've never done anything before and we kind of maybe we have a flirty relationship, maybe not, I would be like, oh, they're just probably being nice, or maybe they've been in relationships in the past, blah blah blah. But if you like are acquaintances with someone and so it's maybe you met them at a party once, you get the hint by a comment and all for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So not more than 2.
Not more than 2. Yeah. I mean, they'll DM you.
Yeah. Do you think it's weird if a girl DMs a guy first?
I think it's rare, but I don't think it's weird.
My take on it is, like you said, I feel like one comment, I wouldn't go through liking and commenting.
No.
Just honestly,
you're talking about like every single picture.
I honestly wouldn't do it at all. I would just, if I was interested, I would just literally DM them.
Yeah.
But like my DMs are so dry, like as far as like me DMing people, like flirting wise, I'm like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, I actually never, seeing you with a guy in general is so awkward for me because you're always like very like, if you look at you, you're like, oh, she's probably like
a slut.
Well, yeah. Well, probably like when you first meet her, but you're so reserved and like mature and very particular that even seeing you with any guy at all is always like, that's so weird to me.
Yeah. So, well, you heard it. Okay, next one. Dear Dry Diaries, I'm almost 30 and have been with my boyfriend for 5 years. Wow, that's a long time. I feel like he's not growing in the ways that I hoped he would, especially when it comes to his career. Is it fair to end things because I'm not sure he can support the lifestyle that I want?
Ugh, that's so triggering for me.
Really?
That's so triggering for me because it took me a long time to get where I wanted to go. And when I made my first movie, it was during my relationship that was 2 years long that basically she left me because she didn't want to date someone who was inconsistent work. And like when you're in the entertainment business, your work's inconsistent, and it's very to be secure in financially is a huge deal for a lot of people. Yeah. And if that guy's love isn't going to be enough for you, then you got to break his heart now and let him find someone else because it'll be very hard, but he may never. If you have a problem with his ability to support you financially, and that's going to be your problem, then leave. Yeah. And don't waste any more of his time.
Right. That's what I would say. If you don't see a future with him of getting married.
Yeah. And you're wasting each other's time.
Right. But I do have a question. Is he like a bum that doesn't do anything and isn't striving towards a career?
Doesn't matter.
No, I think it matters.
Doesn't matter. Oh, okay. Oh, you're saying is he a bum like a lazy bum?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That does matter. Yes.
She's 30. They've been dating 5 years. My question would be to her is, does he have a career that he's striving?
Does he have a goal?
Yeah. Or is he working towards something? Or is he just not doing anything?
If he's sitting on his butt playing video games all day,
then yes, break up with him and move on.
I mean, for both of you,
right.
Honestly, for both of you.
It might be a wake-up call.
It's a wake-up call for him, for sure.
Dear Dry Diaries, my background has made me feel like I should wait to have sex with someone until I'm really sure. But I don't know if that's just my upbringing talking. Do guys actually judge based on timing, or is that just in my head?
I'm very uniquely qualified to answer this situation, or maybe disqualified because of my past. For me, sex is obviously it's very case by case, relationship wise. I've dated people that we took, I mean, no more than days really, but at an extended period of time, a couple hours without doing anything. No, but I, dated people where it wasn't going to be physical, you know what I mean? And Tamatero, right? They teach you there's more to it than that. If you're going to save yourself till marriage, put it this way, there will be a guy out there that will love and respect that.
Oh, I love that answer.
Think so. I think there will be. And maybe you wait for that person.
Right.
Not me.
Yeah.
Not
Couldn't
me.
be me.
But there is someone out there that will.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I think that there definitely is someone out there that is probably on the same level as morals and values as you. But I will say that if you are dating a guy and that you have these standards, I don't think this person necessarily meant until marriage. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, if you're just waiting until you're maybe it's a few months, something like that.
Alex.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if it's a few months, hey, listen, if you have a great time together, my answer doesn't change really. I think it's the same. I think if the relationship's right, then it's right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So there is someone out there, if you are waiting for marriage, then fine, stick to your morals, your beliefs. I would encourage somebody, I'm not telling them to change their morals and values, but, maybe adventure and look into more things. But I think that faith is a big component, so I don't want to discredit that. Another thing I will say that if you are dating a guy and you do have standards of maybe you wait 4 dates, maybe you wait till you start dating officially in a certain amount of time. If a guy makes you feel bad for that, then that's his issue and that's not yours. Don't change who you are for someone else because you need to feel accepted by somebody. Okay, Dear Dry Diaries, I feel super anxious the day after a night out. I start replaying conversations and wondering if I was too much or did something embarrassing.
This is from Becca?
I don't know. No. Do other people feel this way and how do you handle it?
Yes, other people feel this way.
Yes.
I deal with it every morning that Becca wakes up.
Yeah.
No, I just have to.
I mean, I think actually everyone does feel that way.
Yeah. How do I see? I've been drinking for many years. I'm a professional alcoholic. No, I'm not professional. I don't get hungover and I don't really black out. So it's just I drink in a sense where I don't overdo it. So I
think I've gotten to that point too.
Yeah. So it's just for me. Listen, you're always gonna have nights where you have anxiety, as we call it when you're hungover. Anxiety. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Always think about this when you have anxiety about something. No one is thinking about you more than they're thinking about themselves.
Right.
So don't think nothing you did that night before anyone cares that much about.
Yeah.
They have their own problems to worry about.
And if someone's making you feel bad about something, if it's so tragic, it should be someone that understands.
Right.
Oh, she was really drunk. If you're if it's new people, still, I still give new people the benefit of the doubt because I'm I don't even know you, whatever. But also, if it's your good friends and you do something stupid, you feel bad. There's so many times where I've gotten a little too drunk. Bryce has seen it, and I get really sassy. And have I felt bad the next day? Yes, but I've learned I don't really get too sassy anymore. But I think that things that you can do is if you have friends, call them, vent about what happened, talk about it, eat good food, watch a movie that makes you feel good, just chill out.
Time heals it all.
Yeah, water.
Hydrate.
All right, guys, that's it for today's entry. Thank you, Bryce, for coming on and
pleasure.
Spilling tea that you haven't spilled before, too. So we will see you next time.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.